Welcome back to BLOCKTV. This is Crypto Craze, where we look at the latest and greatest developments in the crypto and blockchain ecosystem. Now, Gods Unchained, the top-selling blockchain game of this year, and today we are joined by their newly announced game director, Chris Slay. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, now before we jump into the questions, let's take a look at your game trailer so people at home understand exactly what we're speaking about.
Blood, gore, bone, tears. These are the only currencies I accept for debts owed. Will make a fine addition to my collection.
What a badass game trailer there. Now, Chris, you are the former game director for Magic the Gathering Arena. Why did you decide to switch over to Gods Unchained?
So for me, I didn't actually know about Gods Unchained when I left Wizards and MTG Arena. I took a little bit of time off to myself. I dropped all of the crunch weight. And when the announcement went out that I had left Wizards, Robbie reached out right away. And I didn't know enough about crypto and the blockchain to say no to talking to him. And after a phone call with Robbie and then another with James, I was on a flight over to Sydney and, just talking with them about their plans and, as a game designer, understanding the possibility space around what crypto can bring to games basically made my head explode. I couldn't sleep well for a couple nights just thinking through everything that we could do. And it made the choice really easy to come down and join the team.
Mm-hmm. Well, could you take us through some of those top possibilities you speak of that blockchain and crypto could bring to games?
Yeah, so right now in games, we're kind of in an interesting space where free-to-play has really taken over microtransactions, loot boxes, and we've kind of gotten to a point where, for gamers in general, and I'm a big gamer, I play a lot of games, control has really shifted completely to the publishers and the developers, and as players, you're kind of left in a place where all of the value for what you're buying in these games is trapped. It's trapped value. And with crypto and the blockchain, it's essentially trying to bring that control back to gamers, which is something that I think there are publishers out there that are going to be a little bit intimidated by that. I know it's a little bit scary to put control over your game and economy essentially into the hands of the players in the community. But having been in games for over 20 years now, almost all of them working on online games, when you empower your communities, amazing things happen. Almost every single gaming craze has come out of a mod on an existing game. You've got Dota and MOBAs coming out of mods. You've got battle royales coming out of mods. You've got these auto chess games. And I believe that crypto is going to allow us to empower communities to profit along with us and grow along with us, which will just accelerate the pace of gaming discoveries essentially.
Mm-hmm. And you're speaking about empowering the communities to hold the value that they purchase. Are you worried a little bit about Steam? Steam tried doing that with Artifact, and it kind of really didn't work out so well for them.
So that's interesting in that Artifact, I think a lot of people looked at it as the economy itself was the problem around the game. But even there, that economy is still trapped within Steam to an extent. You're still dealing with those assets. Steam controls the marketplace. They take a cut of every transaction. With crypto, the world I imagine is people can set up virtual game stores. One of the things that I always went through when buying, trading cards was you'd go to a store, they'd repackage a bunch of cards, and they'd have some super rare, valuable, Babe Ruth trading card in it. So you're buying these sort of repackaged products, but you had to trust the owner. And with crypto, that's a trustless arrangement. You can know from the contract what the percentage chance of all of the things in that repackaged goods are. And the ability for people to create a new virtual digital economy around these assets is really crazy and exciting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, especially like you mentioned, TCGs, trading card games, they seemingly lend themselves like perfectly to work well on the blockchain by their nature. What can blockchain? Do you see blockchain also bringing value to other games in general? You mentioned, that free-to-play loot boxes. That's the big thing. Do you foresee blockchain enabling cross-game asset trading? For instance, I buy a weapon in Fortnite, and then through the blockchain, I'm able to use it in Gears of War or something like that.
Yeah, so it's really interesting in that right now, if you wanted to do that, I can tell you from experience, it is a legal nightmare. You're basically going up to, through VPs to the top of the chain and then down that chain of the other company to make something like this happen. And with crypto, we don't have to agree to it. If another game wants to unlock skills or abilities based on cards from Gods Unchained, they can just do that. They can access, those cards in your wallet and take it from there. And again, that's part of the really exciting in that it can create this new networking between games, without all the bureaucracy, but also terrifying at the same time.
Yeah. We're hearing a lot about the game. Maybe you want to take us for a spin and see really firsthand how it works.
Sure. Just give me a moment and I will share my screen. So, here we are at the launcher for the game. I'm going to go quickly into a solo match against an AI. And as I'm doing this, I'm going a little bit into my streamer mode. And that's another place where I think the blockchain provides something new and unique to the community. As a streamer now, you can be on stream, you can play, your favorite deck or a brand new brew. Here I am picking my God Power and then choosing which cards I want in my opening hand. But as you play that deck, if one of your fans watching really wants it, not only can they copy your deck, but they can literally buy the deck you're playing and it can be digitally signed by the streamer or, the tournament winner for a major esport. And that brings a whole new level of interactivity there that hasn't existed in the digital space before. In this sort of freedom, there have been a few cases and people have loved it. So, going from here, it's super exciting. I'm going to grab my creature, attack the enemy god. We have, my God Power that I can play now to give it Soulless, which means when it dies, another creature is going to be spawned in its place. And Soulless also means that it's gone. It's not going to end up in my void, which is a graveyard.
And this seems to be, to follow, at least the basic mechanics of classic TCGs is Hearthstone. So this doesn't seem that anyone who knows games, they don't have to be intimidated by the crypto aspect of this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the first things I talked to the team about before I joined, which is, how are we going to demystify the crypto side of this? Because, I'm a pretty technically competent person, having started my career as a technical artist. And there are a lot of steps to really get through, buying your Ethereum to, having it in MetaMask so that you can, go buy the cards at the moment. And, we are well on our way to simplifying that, allowing a gamer to come on, use a debit card at the moment, moving on to credit cards, to essentially purchase their cards, have them in a wallet, and have them not have to care about that. Just allow them to, build their decks, play the game. Oops, that was me being silly because I was talking at the same time. But
Well,
I think what we can do with the crypto side of it is slowly unveil it over time to gamers so that they have that control without that upfront cost.
So and because like you said, you guys do allow debit cards, that could get people who might not have crypto wallets, might not be comfortable with crypto into the game, and then once they feel more comfortable, and is all the crypto, is that happening? The crypto trading, you said you use MetaMask, is there going to be, is it going to be done through a platform, through the gaming platform, or does it all happen outside, peer-to-peer, between players?
Can you, in terms of what is happening?
As in right now, let's say, I see you're playing, I want your card. Are you guys going to build into the game, into the platform itself, kind of that marketplace, or is it just going to allow for chatting, two players will chat and say, hey, send me to this address, those cards and that crypto?
Yeah, so I mean, that's part of the magic of crypto. We will have our own marketplace for players to use. But people can also, use any, crypto marketplace that evolves out of it. Part of the magic of the referral 10% that, external developers can get from sending people to buy packs from us is it allows them to, benefit from developing for the game. So when, they have their own marketplaces, when they have their own websites, not only are they doing it for the love of the game, but they can make a living out of it as well. It's not going to be just us. When you are going through our marketplace, it is also going through the blockchain. When you're buying cards, it's going through the blockchain. You don't have to trust us with any of this. The blockchain has that in, that trustless state through the contracts.
Now, the game looks great. Let's take it back to you for a moment. Like you said, these things will be tracked on the blockchain. Are all the cards that are going to be in the game, every time a card is put or developed into the game, that is automatically means it's also on the Ethereum blockchain?
Yeah, all of the Genesis cards that are purchasable right now are currently on the blockchain. The core set of cards that players can get, free to play currently are not. Things are going to be adjusting around there in the future with ways to bring those cards onto the blockchain. But it's a little bit of a mix at the moment. Part of that is because the Genesis cards, we are in the balancing beta for those cards, and they are sort of mutable at the moment. But once the balancing beta ends, they are going to be locked in immutable. Whereas the core cards, we are keeping those as a balancing safety valve in that we are reserving the right to adjust the core cards, moving forward as necessary.
I mean, it's got to be a major, like you said, you've come from a non-blockchain background for game development. It's got to be really fascinating because the gaming industry in the blockchain, in the crypto sphere is so young. You have to deal with these new problems, like you said, where you're trying to, a regular game developer uses that balancing tool, even post, constantly. If you look at games like, any games, Fortnite and Battlefield. They constantly are remotely balancing and tweaking things behind. And like you said, once you put it on the blockchain, it's immutable, which is good, but also it's got to be a headache for developing.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Coming from Wizards of the Coast, they've got just a little bit with 25 years of experience of immutable cards, but in the physical world. And we're going to be taking that into the digital space for the first time, but it isn't a completely unknown problem. There are, places that we can, use the community to help, potentially balance out cards that are a problem through bans for tournaments. We have avenues of approach sort of that exist in the physical world now. It's not quite as scary as it may sound at first that they're immutable.
Wow, I mean, it looks great. When can people play? Is it free to play right now?
You can sign up and play now. Each weekend we are doing a rank constructed, essentially mini tournament where the top players from the weekend are getting Genesis packs. So it is a great time to get in and play, and the core cards are very strong. You can make decks with just the core cards and make it to the top. So if you're looking to get started and test out the blockchain even without a big upfront investment, now is the time.
Wow, it really looks great. Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. Great luck with the game. I'm excited to play. Hopefully I'll see you on the battlefield. And for all of us here at BLOCKTV, thanks for watching.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.